this, who's going to end up in the bottom of the standings? This match is likely to dictate just that.
Yeah, seeing a lot of love for Fury there as well in that community vote, with the majority coming through, so that's quite exciting for them. And look, I think it's disappointing for Renatus, right? They started off so strong in APAC South. They got that first win against Elevate, and it's kind of just been downhill since then. So yeah, look, this is definitely a chance for Renatus to try and find some of that form back.
Huge opportunity for both of these teams, not to mention Fury, of course, playing with their full 5 roster. They've played with Mopey instead of Producer Bim, as the guys on the desk touched on, for quite a number of their matches so far, and no doubt that has thrown a spanner into the works. Here's another fun one for you, Raven. These two teams, the only teams in APAC South that haven't made any roster changes from last year. Of course, Fury played in APAC South last year, Renatus did not, but no roster changes. Same 5.
Yeah, and look, it's always an interesting storyline to bring up in general, but I think particularly this stage, in stage 1 of the year, it's been very interesting because we've had some teams make a lot of changes, and they are generally the teams we're seeing at the top, but Dival's kind of the exception to that rule. But no, you're right, like they haven't made any changes, and unfortunately it feels like it's just been a really rough start. But no, I'm really excited for Chalet in particular. I think it was a good map to have gone to for Fury, because while they did get 7-0'd on it earlier in the stage, they actually had a very good competitive performance against Wildcard on this map just last week. It was a narrow loss, 5-7, and there was some really good glimpses of some great play from Fury on that map.
That's it. By the far the best showing we had seen from Fury all stage long. And that is saying something, because we unfortunately hadn't seen a lot of bright moments. Now, this could well be an overtime game as well. I think, in fact, all of the matches that we have tonight, Raven, are looking to be close games. You know, we may be proven wrong. We often are when it comes to APAC South. But Renatus Fury, I think this is particularly going to be a very tight one. Two closely matched teams, more closely matched than perhaps any other pairing in the league right now. And so we'll see them go head-to-head on Chalet. Like the guys on the desk said, haven't seen Renatus play this map, but have seen Fury lose it twice, including a 0-7 against Chiefs in their second match. Quite an embarrassment, but we have seen improvement week to week, haven't we, Brandon? Because just last week, like you said, they almost pushed Wildcard to OT.
Yeah, we really have. There was just some things that started clicking for them a little bit more last week. Just felt like there was some more coordination starting to come in with their roster. And, you know, we did talk about it. The desk talked about it. Producer Boom, he wasn't playing for a lot of those initial play days. They were playing with Mopey. So it kind of just indicated, right, that they were playing with a sub. They had to kind of naturally grind in some synergy, and that's felt like what slotted in last week. So I think it makes this extra interesting that Producer Boom is now back in. Like, is this going to help them, or maybe will this push them back a step? It's hard to say how much they've actually practiced with Producer Boom.
It is hard to say, but what we can say for certain, as you might have noticed from the map stats graphic we showed before the game, is that this Master Office has not been as strong for the defense as other bomb sites like Dining and Kitchen, and even Basement downstairs. Now, Master Office tends to be the most popular bomb site at most levels of gameplay, but a lot of defending sides have struggled with that defense. Now let's see what Renatus have to show as they start to move around the map. Thatcher banned out, Flores banned out. Good map control already taken. No significant repicks. We do have the Nomad for flank watch. That's going to be pivotal.
That's already really great from Renatus too. The time management and the ability to get in and get this map control, identifying that it's there to take, is actually fantastic. You know, it can take a little while to clear out the players around Library and roaming maybe potentially below in Bar Kitchen. It looks like Fury haven't really stuck to that at all. Renatus, with their quick approach, just taking up that control already, and they can go to work on this office wall. And this is a massive part of this attack procedure in general, is just usually dancing around this wall. You might have to clear wall denial, coordinate something with your hard breach. You know, it can take a bit of time, but here they are, first minute in, it is done.
Next level time management from Renatus, showing, as they have all stage long, that despite being the newest team, they certainly do not look like fresh noobs off the block. Even now, breaching into Dining to prevent any vertical C4s and really put that pressure onto Fury. I'm liking that. The one X factor for Fury is the Echo, the Yokai drones at large to deny plant. They didn't play that last week against Wildcard, so Renatus might not be expecting it.
And we're actually seeing that hard red pinned as well just before the Yokai hiding in office. So certainly something that Renatus are well aware of. And the good thing is with this time management, they have plenty of time to try and manage it. They've done such a good job at setting up, but Fury managed to get that opening pick. At the same time though, Rix is going for this plant here, Dev. He's going to get this in.
Wow. What an amazing play from Renatus to get that diffuser planted. Oh no! The run out is successful, traded by Hajime, or by Apes Claymore rather. Hajime goes down. Still a 3 versus 4 now in the post plant. And Furies start to retake. Great use of the gas canisters there from Producer Boom, but Hermosa does not expect a second player to push that position. And Fury is fighting tit for tat. Here comes Producer Boom, spotted by Tolji. It is now a 2 versus 1, a 1 versus 1. But Lycolis has absolutely no time. He has to stick this defuse, but it gets off. No! That was a critical mistake! He forfeited the round, falling off that diffuser, and less than 7 seconds to go means there is no chance of locking in that retake.
I actually thought he was a sticker. I thought he had that, Dev. I was so sure that he had that. But look, I think at the end of the day, it's one of those things, it's a 50-50 chance. You either stick it or you pull off. I think given the time on the clock, you know, just stick it, because even if he managed to flick and get a nutty kill, it would have been a matter of milliseconds. But look, it was a decent attempt at the retake from Fury. Certainly gave themselves an opportunity, but I think huge credit to Renatus. That attack was beautiful. The map control in nice and early, opening that wall into office in the first minute, it really set them up for that success.
I'm a big advocate for contesting early map control, and that's the one thing we didn't really see from Fury. It could have delayed a lot of Renatus' time if Fury were just in library, or maybe playing mezzanine, contesting library, contesting the windows early, shooting a couple of drones. And yeah, it's risky. They may lose a player in doing so. But I think that on Chalet, on Master Office, you can't get away with letting the enemy team have so much map control. And Fury is certainly going to need to take that on board for this coming round. They've changed their bomb site now to dining and kitchen downstairs. That means that a lot of the contest of this bomb site is going to be back up in Master Office, where that vertical map control is, and where Renatus will no doubt be wanting to take control.
Absolutely, and look, I think Fury definitely need to be contesting a lot earlier. They really do. That's a key difference to what we saw against Wildcard. They were doing a really good job getting in Wildcard's face and just not really letting Wildcard have that control. Didn't really see that in round 1, but hey, it's only the first round in. Plenty of time to adjust, and they are on the defense, which, as we saw in on the desk segment, it is kind of favored on Chalet at this stage of APAC South.
Once again, the same 5 operators on the attack. No player opting to repick. Could have expected maybe a buck or another vertical operator picked here for Renatus, but instead committing. I like this flank watch though, an air jab, watching the main stairs, the snowmobile stairs, cautiously avoiding those flanks, preventing it. And once again, really good time management here in it from Renatus.
Yeah, really good. They're just doing such a great job at getting their prep drones in the right places, keeping them safe, giving themselves a lot of information so that they can just get in and act. You can see at the top left there, they've still got 8 drones that are in play, basically. And in the first minute gone, that's pretty decent. It means that they've been able to keep them safe, probably put them in these great positions so that they can get in and get this early control. And already, if they get this wall open in towards dining, it's just such pressure on site for Fury.
Wow. Great usage of the Maverick and Thermite in tandem. The Maverick just to make a tiny hole and shoot off the mute jammer. And wow, it's perfect. How does he do that? He goes, he opens up the wall, and immediately afterwards gets a grenade kill. Other than pulling some serious weight for Renatus, and the team just looking so ready. I mean, how long until they could feasibly execute here? They have ticked so many of the boxes already.
Yeah, I couldn't quite see if there was an outline in office to try and hold that control, but they are pretty close to being able to do this. All they need to be worried about is that vertical control. Otherwise, they can get in and plant behind chassis, and then they just have to get the crossfire on towards that rushing position towards the dining table. But other than that, it is going to be tough, especially I can't see any denials here for the plant. There's no smoke. Mute died. Not sure if he had a C4, but yeah, I think this execute is certainly imminent, honestly, Dev.
Fury will surely have to flank here. Renatus taking their time. Here come the smokes for the execute, and here come the frags for Fury. And that forces Renatus to back on off. Rix falls back. And as the smoke subsides, this should expose some of the Fury players, but they seem to have played around it very well, dancing back and forth. Hajime on the bomb site finds the better Atolji, and now Rix desperately looking to find a player. He's not going to get anything. 4 up for Fury, and well, they found their first defensive round.
I did, and look, they did a great job kind of battling back in that position. They really did have their backs against the wall. I would really say that Renatus kind of cooked the attempt there to get that plant down. They missed some pretty critical gunfights. The first one was the player holding the hallway in towards kitchen. Lost that gunfight to the kitchen player. Didn't quite see where the other frag came out because it was 2 really quick kills, but it did allow them to kind of rush the planter. They didn't get that kill. Planter pulled off though, and it meant the whole execute really fell apart, and they lost their positioning at the same time. So look, props to Fury for that. Unfortunate for Renatus, they did such a good job with the majority of that attack. Again, their time management is incredible, and the fact that they're getting some really critical steps done early, they're giving themselves time to set up for these executes.
I also, not to be hypercritical, but I feel like that smoke grenade placement from Rix on the Thermite just helped the defenders. It cut off so many lines of sight that the attackers would want to use to cover the planter. I think it was a shallow smoke near the dining table in dining, instead of near where the rotates, near the positions where the defenders would push. Like, the closer you are to a smoke, the less you can see, right? I mean, it's pretty basic. You want to put it right up in the defenders' faces so that you still have line of sights. But it meant that when Fury started getting aggressive, Renatus couldn't trade their teammates. I don't know, that's a pet peeve of yours sometimes. Bad smoke placements and executes that prevent you from refragging your teammates.
100%. Sometimes it gives me chills when someone's like, all right, I'm going to smoke and plant. I'm kind of just like, please don't smoke, because that happens. Look, it put a lot of pressure. It's a really good example. It put so much pressure on that hallway player, because as soon as that hallway player lost their gunfight, that was it. Like, there was no more cover on the planter, and that's really where it fell apart. So yeah, just small things, but I think already looking pretty good for Renatus in general for the attacks, but also for Fury. They really dug deep to make sure that they could pull that round back, and look, it's already proving to be a close game like we thought it might be.
We're absolutely seeing Renatus, despite not having played Chalet a lot recently in APAC South, or in fact at all in APAC South. They are very well practiced on this map. The start of these rounds, with the exception of that fluffed air jab, it looks like Renatus has got no opponent. They're just dry running, right? How quickly they take that map control, set up their flank watch. It's really pristine.
Definitely so. And once again, first minute in, they're already gone up to the office wall, hard breached it, setting themselves up beautifully here. So Fury haven't been able to critically analyze that this was an important part. They needed to contest this a little earlier and just strong arm it a little bit. You don't even have to play it dangerous, just have more of a presence, potentially shoot more of those drones. You can see the 7 is still alive for Renatus. That's pretty strong coming into the halfway point of the round. You're going to be able to utilize those super effectively for flank watch and to try and drain outside and just find out where these positions are. They can really structure this execute because of that lack of pressure from Fury in the early stage.
Fury really have not changed a lot, have they? Operators, all the same as the previous time they defended this side as well. Who's to say the plant denial is going to be any more successful? Here comes the yokai from Lycolis, exposing its position, spotting out some of the attacker drones on site as well. But there is still a lot of time here for Renatus.
Plenty of time. And again, that's just such credit to their early phase. And once again, there's a jump out. It happened last time, and it's not refragged. He is downed at least. But, oh, yeah, look, that could have been a lot worse for Renatus, for sure. I think they've somehow managed to salvage something out of that. They got 45 seconds, and here we go. Rix is in, going for this plant.
Oh, and Hoven's going deep. That's a genius play. And he gets one for it. Now that plant's gone down. Hajime dangerous, though. Lycolis as well, still up on the board. Hajime goes down. Covering his teammate very well from the window is Tolji. Lycolis, oh no, just narrowly misses the shots. Now Tolji in such a powerful position, but this is winnable for Lycolis. We've seen him get close before, but he got off the diffuser last time. That is the cover from Hoven. And Renatus complete a second successful plant attack onto Master Office.
And look, there've been really great attacks onto Master Office. There's definitely some big changes that Fury need to make to the philosophy of their defense. You know, it's not necessarily that their lineups are terrible or anything like that. It's just a lot about how it's being played out. Nars having too much time. Fury's doing a pretty decent job. It's still applying some pressure to Renatus, but I think you can't discount how strong the advantage of the time is that Renatus are giving themselves with that, you know, that early time management and map pressure.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
And you can't really blame Fury for trying all these different bomb sites now. That's 2 unsuccessful attempts of Master Office. Pretty disappointingly, Fury didn't change much between those 2 defenses. So I'm glad that they're changing bomb sites, because when something fails, you need to change. At some point in the pipeline, something needs to change, right? And it could be the bomb site that changes. You could stay with the same bomb site, but change your defense a little bit. We've talked a lot about how there's no pressure on library or mezzanine at all. But Fury, they're going, instead of trying to reanalyze that same bomb site that they've now lost twice, moving over to bar. I think that's a good move. It's not going to be easy, though. I think that the Flores ban is a huge advantage to them, though, because it makes it much harder for Renatus to go and clear all these power positions, these deployable shields.
That's right, and that's what's very common when you're holding this defense, is you'll have a lot of vertical pressure, or presence, I should say, around library, mezzanine, top library stairs. They're the key positions that you have to flush out. So I think you're right there with the Flores off the board. It does kind of put a bit of pressure on the attackers to try and do it a bit differently. They've got a lot of frag grenades on the board, though. They've also got Zofia for those projectile impacts. So they've got plenty of utility to do so. Given their time management already, I feel like it's going to be okay for Renatus. So this really comes down to how Fury play this one out. I also think the selection of Bar Gaming, just super quick, is interesting from Fury. Statistically, it's the most attacker-sided site on Chalet of the 3 maps we've seen in APAC South. So the odds are not really in their favor for this one.
It's also the one bomb site that against Wildcard, they played twice in a row and failed twice in a row, then never reattempted it again after that. Only successfully defended Kitchen Dining and Master Office against Wildcard did Fury. So can't have too much hope for them here on this bomb site, even if a lot of other factors may be in their favor.
Feels like the least impactful first half of a round that we've seen from Renatus so far, but even still, fairly decent. They've been able to get in. This is really big from Hoven here on the stairs, being able to get the line of sight through into the stock room with the Maverick. And also Renatus been able to pick up this opening kill already. This is looking good for them on this attack.
Certainly is. Fury really feeling that pressure, and they just struggle so immensely with defending this bomb site. And it just goes from bad to worse. There's a reason why this is the most attacker-sided bomb site in APAC South. The Spacehead can find one pick, but he's taken a lot of damage for his trouble. And now he's down for the count. It's just Producer Boom, fresh on back from his sabbatical, if you will. No, time off. Now he's got to flank a 1 versus 4, 50 seconds to go. I don't know exactly where he is, and there's some good info for his side, but it still doesn't matter. Ape is just better. And this is looking excellent for Renatus. Fury really struggling to find traction on defense.
Yeah, really strong attack once again from Renatus. Fury just looking a little lost with the philosophy of these holds, because if you look at it strategically at least, or structurally, you know, there's a lot there. It looks good, but then as it plays out, it's crumbling very quickly. So I think that's a lot of praise on the side of Renatus as well. Their attacks are doing a really good job of kind of exploiting these weaknesses, these gaps in Fury's defenses. Yeah, you're kind of seeing it firsthand how important it is. Like, you can have the strategies down pat in terms of what to bring, where to put it, but it's all about how you play it out.
And it's something that Fury are consistently struggling with as well. What can we really say as consolation for them? There doesn't seem to be a lot at the moment. The only round that they've managed to win in this match so far was that really nice retake / plant denial where they played around the smokes. It does feel a little bit like Fury's virtue, Fury's saving grace has just been that they are pretty decent at playmaking. Like, when it comes to jumping out windows and refragging each other and, you know, taking fights, they're not bad. They're probably winning just as many gunfights as Renatus, but Renatus aren't going to give them those gunfights. They're going to pick them to pieces.
Yeah, it's actually a good point that you bring. Like, if you look at the kills, I'm not going to do the quick math, but just visually, if you look at the kills on either team, it looks pretty even. Like, they really aren't, like, you know, there's not a team stomping one another in terms of the gunfights, the engagements, or anything like that. It really just comes down to kind of being outplayed. So, look, Renatus definitely on track here to get a potential 5-1 half, which would be quite huge for them. This is the only site that they lost previously, and it was there to have. There was just a couple of critical errors on their part that kind of cost it, and Fury obviously capitalized. So yeah, this is this is big for Fury in particular. I'd say they really need to try and save this half. If they can get this back to be a 3-3, it's certainly manageable coming into the second half.
I did the quick maths for you because I had some time while you were talking. 16 to 12. So Renatus 16 kills, Fury 12 kills so far. And if you think about it, that's only 1 kill advantage for Renatus per round so far, which is very, very minute difference. So it absolutely backs up what you're saying. Fury have the firepower, but Renatus are just, they're like clockwork, so organized. And yes, absolutely. With Chalet currently a defender-sided map in APAC South, Fury really need to get a wriggle on. 2 rounds would be bare minimum.
Already, Renatus kind of at this point, as they were last time, ready to push in and start to open this wall. Producer Boom, though, actually trying to mute trick this wall. Is this what I'm seeing here?
That is very, very cheeky. Is that worth the risk? He's about to find a nade in his pocket. He better run away. Producer Boom. Oh my God, he is very, very lucky, but his teammates cannot boast so much the same. Now Producer Boom is one of just 2 remaining Fury players, as it is a bloodbath on the top floor. And the poor guy is now in a 1 versus, okay, it made it a little bit easier with the team kill, but he's gone. What another dominating round from Renatus.
That was unreal. It's like Producer Boom just entered the matrix to dodge all the utility. Put a lot more pressure on the vertical play from Fury. We didn't really see them extend past Office in the previous attempt at that attack. This time I can only assume that that's what they did. We didn't quite see from the outlines or anything like that, but a lot of those players were off-site. You know, they're playing around Master and around Bathroom and even towards Office. So yeah, not great. And that does mean that Fury now, they will not have an advantage coming out of this half. It's 2-4 at best for them.
And it's really not looking to be a 2-4, to be honest. Like, we're barreling towards a 5-1. The only bomb site that Fury were able to defend was Kitchen Dining, and they've now lost that as well as successfully defending it. Like you said, the linchpin of that previous defense was everything we didn't see on camera, which was all the action going down upstairs. And I think Renatus has really got a number on what Fury is doing here and how they're playing this. And you got to admit, it's scary watching Fury and thinking, oh my God, are they going to be able to pull another round out of this half?
Yeah, look, I think they've clearly got some stake into Kitchen Dining here. They feel like they can make this happen. It is the round that they won. I don't know whether that's some false hope, though, because I felt like a lot of what happened in the round that they won was just stuff that it went their way as opposed to something that they made happen their way, if that makes sense. So I'm just not sure how this will go. Renatus clearly had their number last time around. I think the key, again, is just contesting early. Renatus getting in this first minute, first 90 seconds, they're getting Office Wall open. It really gives them a lot of time to start to, you know, put that pressure onto Fury's defense.
Renatus have been so efficient with their timing. 45 seconds, map control for Library. Flank watch setup. Told you does need to work on his placement of these air jabs there. He keeps wasting one on the metal bars. Just unfortunate we keep catching that on camera in 4K for his friends and family to clip and make fun of him for. But look, Renatus, once again, really efficient time management. Not even hard breach to worry about on this Office Wall. And Ape, he's been a centerpiece of Renatus' opening kills. Found the opening 2 rounds in a row now. Looking for a 3rd.
Yeah, once again, just like clockwork, 90 seconds in, Rix is here with the exothermic charge, ready to breach this wall. They are going to have to dance around the utility to clear that mute jammer, but looks like that is about to be cleared and open the wall will go. And so already, very big pressure now put onto Fury. This is a really critical stage of the attack that's now cleared. And Renatus, if they can just hold this upstairs controlling through Office, they're going to be pretty set for this plant.
Oh, look at this from Hoven. Beautiful push out of Producer Boom. Pushing him into that corner, Hermosa to cover up. That is excellent play from Renatus. Stellar work from them.
Yeah, absolutely loved that teamwork. It was really well read, and I don't know whether they picked the Capital specifically for that, but
absolutely
very well executed. They're going to try and go for it one more time just to ensure that there's not a player sitting in this back corner, and that will hopefully enable this plan. But once again, there is a Fury player deeper that has just taken away Hermosa, and now this just kind of makes
the fire!
Renatus have to think about it. But yes, Capital coming into play again, Dev.
He just backs straight on into that fire and falls. Now here come the smokes. Is there adequate cover for Renatus? What a shot from Lycolis. And a flash of hope now for Fury as they try and find their second round is in the closing of the half. Plant going down, but a amazing shot through the smoke. Works out well for Fury. Desperate now for Renatus. Rick's taken out. And Fury managed to do it once again. Under the cover of smokes, they spring into action, and they have found themselves a second round.
Look, once again, really good by Fury just to capitalize on any little gap that Renatus left on that attack. But once again, it was a really great attack from Renatus. I think the ingenuity with that Capital Firebolt was fantastic. Once again, they had that early map control, time management, open up office. They really could think about their execute. You could argue that maybe they just took a little bit too long, didn't capitalize when there was a bit of that chaos. So I think once they got that Firebolt kill, maybe that was just the time to hit the button and go. Hard to say, but at least Fury has managed to save that to be a 2-4 half. It's not awful, but certainly for a defense half, that's not great.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
It really feels like Renatus could be 6-0 up right now. And all it would take, I think, is not throwing smoke grenades. I think that every time Renatus threw down a smoke grenade, Fury were like, yeah, okay, let's play aggressive, let's take fights, let's spray through the smoke. The number of kills that they got that, Renatus is probably sitting there saying, oh, that was undeserved. We really had that. Absolutely, this could be a 6-0 for Renatus right now. That puts the pressure squarely onto Fury's side. And yes, Fury are still staring down the barrel of having, well, fighting from behind the win rate. Statistically, Renatus is favored here. They've done an exemplary job on their attack on what is statistically a defender side of map. I'm not going to call it just yet, though.
No, look, there's definitely still a lot of siege to play here, but you're right. Statistically, the favor is in Renatus to be able to close this one out. So we'll see how Fury's attacks can go. Of course, what we saw really great from Renatus was early time management and map control, and that was kind of because of Fury in a way. We talked about Fury maybe giving them a little bit too much. So I'm super curious to see how Renatus tackles it. Are they going to start to contest a lot more in the early phases of these attacks?
There's one thing for sure. I've got to say, I cannot imagine Fury being anywhere near as fast and efficient as Renatus were in the early round of their attacks.
Attackers have located a bomb.
It looks like, for now, Fury are setting up for a Solarium take on this defensive master office. We have some contest from Hermosa downstairs. No one hard playing on the stairs right now. Another player down below, it's Hoven. The nade's coming out, but old information for Fury means that it doesn't find a kill. Will they be able to repel one inside?
Looks like they're going to do it anyway. It was certainly going to be risky, and Hajime does get tagged in the process. But he is now in, so he can cut off this rotate quite nicely. And Dark also managed to make his way in, so it's a bit of a squishy spot, but we'll put some pressure on Renatus. They have to think a lot more about the Solarium side, which you can kind of leave in the back of your mind generally for a lot of these rounds as a defender, but it's not the case anymore. There's a lot of players stacked on that side for Fury, and it's really where they're telegraphing this attack is going to be coming from predominantly.
And indeed, the opening pick goes the way of Fury as well. Lycolis finds it. Hermosa has a huge flank opportunity as well, if Dark isn't careful. Pretty sure he's just cleared the entire area. What he doesn't realize is this Roma lurking down below at the bottom of the West Main stairs. Spacehead avidly watching for that flank. But he can't watch it forever, or can he? Renatus, ooh, what an angle there from 8. Hermosa does try to flank, and Spacehead does indeed punish him for it. Now a 3 versus 5 for Renatus, and Fury are looking potentially the best that they have been so far.
This is really great from Fury, in fact. Lycolis in, going for this plant. Told you, finally finds a kill for Renatus, but it's a little bit late as the plant has gone down. They've made this a 3 versus 2 dev, so potentially manageable on the retake. Lycolis, though, he stands up, and now it's all on Hoven.
Very difficult position to retake as well. coverable from the Solarium windows makes this nigh impossible now for the poor Frost player. Stacked up, 3 players holding a crossfire, and there's Fury with their first attack, already building more momentum than they managed on defense.
I really liked the attack from Fury because it was a little bit this is a bit different from Fury. They really hard focused Solarium early, obviously identified that maybe there wasn't that much presence. We did see Renatus kind of holding off site a little bit more, and it did allow a couple of Fury players to repel in. We signaled that early, and that seems to be the bit of X factor for Fury in that one. Once they had that map control, Renatus couldn't really get back into their positions. We saw them losing their gunfights, and that was pretty much it at that stage.
Fury do look a lot more comfortable on attack compared to defense. On defense, they looked a little bit lost, with the exception of when it was time to make a play, they're good. They have confidence. And I think that's perhaps something that just lends itself to attacking more. They're the ones who have to make the first move, and they seem to operate better when that is their role, rather than sitting back patiently and perhaps playing a util game. And the stats from their wildcard game do back this up. Fury only managed 2 defensive wins against wildcard, whereas on attack they managed to get 3. Of course, that did still lead to a regulation loss for them and 0 points on the scoreboard, which is where they currently still have on the standings after 5 matches. This is their 6th match. Could very much be the same story here, though. For Renatus, it's a matter of they only need 3 defense rounds. Fury might have a bit more bite on their attack than they did on their defense, but they're going to have a lot more, not just a little bit.
Yeah, they do have to keep this momentum up and keep it going. So I think this round is super critical. They want to try and get some rounds back to back. I think that's super important for their form and momentum in general. So yeah, this is quite big because on the other hand, Renatus winning this one puts them to 5, very close to match point, very close to making Fury not actually get regulation wins if possible. You know, they have to try and fight through overtime. It's all kind of downhill. So we'll see what Renatus have in store for us. I can already see that there's a lot of offsite presence from these players. You can see over towards Mezzanine Library, of course, heavy presence.
That's it. Here comes the clear from Fury. Realistically, they will need that regulation win, the full 3 points, if they want to avoid the bottom placement on the standings. Remember that Renatus already have 3 points for beating Elevate. But like Hollis, are fairly well set up here, looking to clear map control across. We've got to deal with 2 main positions here. Well, 3 main positions if you count inside library and the deep corner itself. But one is Hoven here, playing at the big pillar, and the other one is Ape on the stairs. And they've done a great job of clearing Ape's shield back, and he is forced down below, worried about potential nades to come over as well, and Hoven now no longer has that teammate to crossfire with.
Yeah, he's a bit worried about all the different positions that he get pinched from around the top mezzanine and office side. But this is pretty good from Renatus, being able to just hold on to this for so long. And now they've found the opening kill onto Lycolis. That could be absolutely huge as Hoven backs it up. Fury crumbling now in this attack, and they've just got less than a minute to make it work.
They did so many things right, did Fury, but then Renatus just stepped up and found some kills on back. Beautiful vertical angle from Hermosa here. And Ape's found another one, directly trading with Dark. Of course, Renatus is going to win that exchange. 4 versus 2 now for Renatus. Hermosa on the site, keen to get aggressive. Is that the wise choice right now? 30 seconds to go. It nets him a kill nonetheless. Producer Boom now. His location revealed thanks to that gunfight. Bit of a pre-fire through the wall. And Renatus steam ahead. Their first defense round puts them just 1 off match point.
Yeah, it's that danger position that we spoke about already. They gave themselves quite the disadvantage coming out of their defense half, and now this is where it comes into play. They may be feeling more comfortable in their attacks, but they can only lose so many of these rounds before it's total danger zone. This round is certainly going to be quite critical for them. Renatus going to go to the kitchen dining. And look, it was really well held from Renatus. You know, Fury did a pretty good job getting pressure onto that Renatus defense in the top 4 around Mezzanine and Library. And as you said, they cleared out those shields, which saw some players rotate back. But at the same time, Renatus didn't fully drop off. They really committed to it. It got them those first 2 picks. And I think that was a big difference to what we saw with Fury's defenses, is they really often just full rotated off as soon as there was pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. We're also seeing on Fury's attack, it feels like the opening kill dictates so much. And it's not even just the opening kill, but both rounds so far, the team who's found the opening kill has also found the next kill, putting in a 5v3. That is a huge man advantage. Fury managed it on the Master Office attack with the solar push and the clear downstairs. Renatus managed it just then with those aggressive peaks from those exposed Roma positions. And now, well, I'm going to be avidly looking out for where the first point of engagement is going to be here on this round, because I think that opening kill could spell death for whatever team is on the receiving end.
Certainly could. So Fury, this is time to dig deep. They want to save this game. They really have to win this round. A 3-round deficit, and the fact that they have to push to OT, certainly not great. Going to try and replicate some of the success of that first attack. And that means that they're going to have to go hard at trying to get this vertical control. They need to if they've got any chance of trying to win this attack.
Already a decent start. Moving into library now is Spacehead, the tip of the spear for Fury, taking control of the top floor. The goal, of course, just like Renatus did, to clear office. And open is the castle barricade, thanks to Sledge. Great operator to bring when you know castle's on the board. Of course, now clearing out the soft wall is going to be one of the other main objectives for Fury, really exposing those positions in office. You can see the vertical lines are already opened up to deny any plant inside of dining in B. So Fury need to make sure to deny those positions when they're going for execute.
Yeah, and just for a point of comparison, it was around now that we were always seeing Ricks in getting office dining wall open. So Lycolis, kind of managing similar time. C4 could have hit just then onto Hajime. That would have been absolutely huge for Renatus, but it has missed. But regardless, I think this is decent from Fury. They have at least pushed out players hard playing in office, and they do have this wall open, so they're somewhat getting set up for this execute. It's really just about how do they continue to put this pressure onto Renatus in this vertical system. Otherwise, the plant could be really challenging.
Dark's holding the flank upstairs, and he's got some fantastic line of sights to do so. That's his task for the remainder of the round. Deny any vertical pressure from Renatus, who will just continue to burn down this clock. Only, well, not a single gas left, but it doesn't matter. It's on for the retake. Dark fails the one task that was given to him, and now Tolji misses his fight. Oh, the cover from Fury is perfect. And now Renatus onto the back foot.
That was absolutely huge. That cover from Hajime kind of saved Fury's round, to be completely honest with you. About to get that trade on the main fireplace stairs. And then Hajime steps up against Rix. Lycolis in for this plant. This could be tough for Renatus.
But now it's just Hoven left. A 1v3 with Lycolis down on the ground. He's got some info! He gets the first player, Lycolis, back on his feet and can find the final kill. Fury thanking their lucky stars. They just have pulled that across the line and denied the match point.
Yeah, look, they dug deep there. That was really well played from Fury. And again, I got to credit Hajime. He hit a pretty sharp shot from that main lobby double door. And if he hadn't, that would have been a trade on that flank. It would have been a very different story for Fury. Renatus would have been facing that kind of execute more in an even staking. So that was a really big play. And look, Fury just remaining in touch here. If they manage to get this one, push it to 5-5, they don't have to worry about this lead that they've been chasing down the entire game. They'll finally have it on equal standing. So yeah, this could be absolutely huge, and Renatus are doubling down on the site.
Located by attackers.
It really does feel like Renatus were a hair's breadth away from winning that round. Both of the players flanking upstairs being taken out without finding any real substantial scalp to take for their own. That was really what went wrong for Renatus. They managed to take down Dark, who was covering upstairs, watching that flank, but then once they had the ability to flank, they didn't do anything with it. They weren't able to take down the Finker, who was playing on the stairs. They weren't able to take down anyone. And instead of falling back and just using the vertical control that they now had to deny any plant, they kept on peeking, they were taken out, and Fury could then stop worrying about that upstairs presence.
I like from Renatus too that they are doubling down on this. That was a very close to successful defense for them. A little bit hinged on a successful flank though. but it was a good call. I think for Renatus, if they can just stall Fury out even just an extra 30 seconds, you know, it was almost there. It took Fury the best part of those 90 seconds to get in and get the dining wall open. Look, that's still pretty decent time management, but I think that's a starting point for Renatus, is once more just put some pressure onto Fury early, because they're probably feeling it right here. They need to try and salvage this match.
One thing that has been working very well for Renatus is their information game. Those Yokais have been spotting out that plant. We saw red pings in the 1v3 from Lycolis. Renatus seemed to have a pretty good read on what Fury is doing.
This is already feeling a bit slower as well compared to previous round. Dark just now opening up in towards office, making sure they've got this control so they can start to push in and get said breach open. But of course, different attack lineup. I think that's the critical thing here for Fury. In fact, they don't have a hard breach. I really just clicked on this. What?
Wait, what? Okay. That's an interesting decision here from Fury, and they may well be punished for it. Not sure whether perhaps they predicted it was going to be bar games, but they had the opportunity to repick. They certainly did not. That is a critical mistake, and I think that is going to cost them the 3 points. Renatus should take match point here. This is very, very difficult now for Fury to start making their way on in. Got to get control of the top floor first up, and Tolji here behind the deployable shield with the UMP. He doesn't win his fight, but Hermosa elsewhere does. And that gives somewhat of a glimpse of hope to Renatus. Immediately traded back. 2 kills for Dark.
Bomb located by
Rix as well in this tricky little position in through trophy. It must be something that Fury had decided. In fact, Lycolis is just on the other side of this barrier here. He could be in such danger if Rix hears this. This could be what opens up the round for Renatus and secures them moving to match point.
Just listen. Sit back and listen for the rustle. The slightest noise that could expose his position. There it is!
has been dropped.
He gets up and he claims his head and just obliterates Fury's chances in the round. A 2-on-2. And Spacehead, man, you're the only one with full HP. You better hope this works out. Hoven, wake up, mate. What are you looking at? Is there a chance? None whatsoever. Rix single-handedly won that round. And immediately the tactical pause is called for Renatus on their match point.
Yeah, look, it was a tough one. Fury did all right again.
They faced in the wrong way at the end of the round. Some strange information relayed to Renatus. But I think that's just the nature of this match. It's been chaotic. Both teams have been on edge, knowing that this is their best chance of finding more points. And for Fury, that would mean lifting themselves out of last place, which is nigh impossible now, as the maximum that Fury can get from this game is 2. Renatus will have 1. That puts Renatus on 4 and Fury on 2. So Fury would have to win their next match, which is against Elevate. And Renatus would, of course, have to lose against Wildcard for Fury to have any hope of making on through. For Renatus, however, they actually have a chance here at jumping up the standings. Already claimed 1 point from this match. If they get the full 3, they'll be tied with Wildcard, who is their opponent for next week.
Ooh, that's a nice setup for next week. That certainly would be spicy, as obviously they're still vying for potential playoff positions. We have to do the math on whether that's still possible. 2 Playdays to play after this one. Certainly
Fairly
keeps it
certain
open.
that the top 7, so every team in the league except for Fury has a chance at playoffs.
Okay.
I'm pretty certain. So Fury, unfortunately, locked in, having lost 5 games in a row without even pushing OT. But they're not locked into last place. They can get out of that rut that they have been in. And of course, having been 5th place every stage last year, they didn't have to play relegations. The story may well change if they can't get some more points here.
Yeah, and look, it's a long year, multiple stages, but it's also a long stage, and they have at least shown some glimmers of improvement. This has been an okay match for Fury. Wouldn't say it's as good as their performance against Wildcard on this map, but look, they've definitely shown up. You can see the scoreboard here, 6-4, certainly still within reach. Renatus, time to dig deep.
Wow.
Mo, so that is such a big play onto Hajime, taking him out early. Hajime has had such an impact for Fury as well. So to lose him in this critical round in that first minute, it's not going to help Fury at all.
That's it. Second top fragger in the entire server right now, taken out on match point for Renatus. I couldn't ask for much more than that. Great read from Hermosa, and no doubt good audio, hearing the pin pulled from the grenade. Now it's on Ape to hold onto the top of the stairs. He may well look for an aggressive peek as well, like Colas is down. It's looking like it may well be over, Raven. A minute and a half now in the 3-on-5, and Fury have a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, and some tough positions to flush out as well, losing some pretty key operators. I think this is certainly going to be challenging for Fury to bring back, but still time on the board to do so. Just over a minute. There's certainly plenty to make something happen. A quick 2K, of course, just equalizes that man count, and that certainly will help that pressure. Clearing his shield is a good step onto Hoven, but he is keen to hold this mezzanine until he dies.
He may well do so soon if he overpeaks here. Oh, the timing. Spacehead just getting off the angle at the wrong moment. Allows Hoven to stay alive a little bit longer. 2 players on the stairs. But I hope they're protected by some kind of projectile denial. There's Rix and Hoven. Oh, he does get the better of Spacehead, who immediately revives himself, only to be met with a spray of bullets from Ape. It's just Producer Boom. He is hunted down and put to death. That is Renatus taking a fairly dominant victory over Fury, who are still winless in APAC South. 7-4 is the final score.
Still searching for points as Fury, but yes, a really good performance from Renatus. Honestly, I think the scoreline could have been